Hi, second graders. Today we're going to start a paper weaving project. Weaving is joining two different fibers together at right angles to make a pattern in an under-over fashion. We are going to use paper instead of fibers, and we have an exciting project to start. I'll have you start by getting out your art kit and finding the two large folded pieces of paper and your ruler. You get to decide which color you want your weaving template to be. This is called your loom. You decide if you want it to be white or colored. You'll work with your paper as a tent, like so, and place your ruler at the top just like I have it here. Notice how the ruler is the exact same size as the paper on this side. I'm placing my ruler right at the top and drawing a line so that I have a space that's a ruler's width thick. Then I'm writing the word stop and my name. Don't worry, I'll explain in a minute. For this next part, fold your paper back in half and use your ruler vertically. Before, when we made our stop line, we had our ruler horizontal from side to side. Now we're going to place our ruler vertically up and down on the edge of the paper and draw another line that's a ruler's width thick. I didn't guess on this. I actually placed my ruler in the precise space and drew a line. Now I'm going to do it again, making repeating lines that are all the same distance apart, my ruler's width. If you get lucky at the end like I did, you will have a spot at the end that's just about a ruler's width. You only need lines on half of your paper, so that's why I opened it up to check. Fold your paper back in half, and you've guessed it, we're going to cut. Take your time and cut all the way up to the stop line. When you get to the stop line, you stop. Hold on tight to your paper and just make sure you're doing a nice even job. Your paper might want to move and slide around, so pinch tight with that other hand. When you open up your loom, it will still be one piece of paper with lots of skinny strips cut in the middle. This is the end of day 1. Now, from our art kit, we will decide what colors we will weave with, and we have to make paper strips. You can choose lots of different colors and make a pattern, or you can choose 1 or 2 papers to create a beautiful color scheme. In this case, I'm going to use all 3 of these greens and blues, and I'm going to use my ruler the long way on my paper to create strips of paper that are all the same size. They're the width of my ruler. Uh-oh, not this direction. Yes, we want it to go the long way. This is a lot of work, second graders. I know. Take your time and cut as neatly and carefully as possible. You will be very happy you did. Here with 6 different strips, I'm going to start weaving. Let me show you. Since I'm right-handed, I started on the right side. I'm going under, over in a pattern that will soon look like a checkerboard. The ones that I'm going under, those are my warp lines, I'm lifting. Then I go over the opposite ones. Eventually, I create a checkerboard with my paper strips. This is a common mistake. Don't do the same with your row above. Then they'll overlap. You want to pull out your strip if you're starting to do this and do the opposite, lifting up the opposite warp line and sliding your paper strip under it. This makes a checkerboard pattern when I slide my paper strip all the way so it can't go any further. Uh-oh, I'm doing it again. I'm repeating my blue with how my lime green is going through my warp lines on my loom. This can't happen. We don't want that. If this happens to you, take it out and try it again. Make sure you're going opposite with each row. Under, over, then over, under. Feel free to secure some of your paper strips with just a little bit of tape. The side of your loom that has the words, like stop and your name, is the back of your loom. So if there's a little tape on the back of your loom, it's not a problem at all. Here I'm going through very carefully to make sure my checkerboard has all the corners of my squares touching. That means I'm packing in my paper strips as tight as they will fit. As you go, make sure you don't have mistakes along the way. If you have paper strips hanging off the edge or a spot where you went over 2 or under 2, that would be considered a mistake. You also don't want to have holes in your loom or any trouble spots that look messy. Weaving and cutting all the paper strips that you need should take about 2 class periods. So take your time, weave maybe just half of your loom the first day, and then focus on the second half the next day. And let me tell you, the last 2 paper strips are by far the hardest. So take a deep breath, take your time, maybe ask someone for help if you need it. Notice here on the ends, I'm going to try and fit one more paper strip, but to do that, I need to cut my spaces a little longer so I have the room. Here I am just gently cutting a little more on the edge of my loom, making one more paper strip, the color that I need, and very slowly and carefully weaving it in without ripping my loom. This does take extra patience and determination, but I know you can do it, second graders. Oh boy, did you see how the bottom of my loom almost ripped? If your loom rips, think about some way that you could repair it. What are you thinking? It's so nice to have a back and a front to our loom. The back is where all the pencil lines are. The front is glorious, clean and beautiful. Way to go, second graders. I'm so proud of you. Keep your weaving in a safe place for next week.